Welcome, everyone. Before we begin our meeting tonight, we will have a prayer led by Councilman Ron Fitzwater, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. I will now call to order the Monday, February 4th, 2019 City Council meeting. Mrs. Donaldson, roll call, please.
Fitzwater.
Present.
Graham.
Here.
Hensley.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Kimna.
Here.
Mahalovich.
Present.
Prather.
Here.
Schreiber.
Present.
Ward. Here. Wiseman.
Present.
Item 3, I'll entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, miscellaneous agenda items. We have with us Mrs. Ashley Varner from Healthy Communities Coordinator, Wellness Navigator of Capital Region Medical Center to provide a spin scooters update along with some guests with you today.
Can everybody hear me?
Come on.
Do I need one of these?
I think it is.
Hello, hello?
I think so.
Hello. Okay, good evening. Ashley Varner, Capital Region Medical Center, Healthy Communities Coordinator. You're not on. Is that on? Okay. All right. So, I don't really need it. So, I brought with me this evening Amy.
Well, actually, she's bringing you one, and that way they can hear you on the video as well. So we've got one here for you.
Thanks.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about all of that. I brought with me Amy Schroeder, J.C. Parks, myself, Ashley Varner, and we have Justin Rains, the owner of Mobile Tire Expert out in Brazito. And so, as you all know, we launched as a collaboration between Capital Region Medical Center and J.C. Parks Bike Share here in Jefferson City at the end of July of 2018. This is 2019. And part of that contract was to have 75 bikes on the ground, which we have been maintaining. J.C. Parks has been maintaining, along with Redwell Bike Shop. The other part of that contract was to have 75 scooters hit the ground, and we have since implemented that December 1st of 18. So they have been on the ground for a few months now, and basically we are available tonight to kind of do a demonstration of what the scooter looks like, how do you operate it, and then answer any and all questions regarding scooters, because we have Justin here who is actually contracted with Spin. He does the maintenance of the scooters and charges them. Okay? How do you want to do it? Do you want to, I'll be the model and you can talk about what it does? Or do you, okay.
Justin even has the capability of unlocking this if you guys want to see it in
You guys want to
motion.
ride? Do some donuts?
Yeah, you bet. Mark, go ahead. Go ahead, ride down.
I think
I'm smarter.
I think Carlos already called dibs on that.
No, you can do it.
So, I'm just gonna, I got a loud voice, is that gonna be loud enough on TV or whatever?
Come on up if you need to get a picture.
Hold on one second, let me get this thing unlocked.
So you need to put the Spin app on your phone. You can download the app, Android Store or the Apple Store. Also, we have Todd Spalding here with J.C. Parks. He's capable of answering these questions also. He is. He
So
just
the
rides
same
them every
app
day.
as your bike app. It's the same app.
It's the same app. So you'll download the same app, and when you bring up the app, you'll have the map, and it'll actually give you little icons of bikes or little icons of scooters based on the location of them. And once you can tap on the scooter, and it will tell you before even putting in your payment information or any personal information how much electric charge the scooter has.
So, like she said, there's a QR code right here on the corner, on the top here. So once you find a scooter, so one of our deployment spots is right here in front of the police department. We put out 5 scooters there every day. So you just walk to wherever one's at, you scan it. If you've already got your personal information, your credit card in there, you're ready to go. If you're not, you'll have to upload that. That's a one-time thing. The way the app works is it's going to charge your card for $5 one time. And then if you want,
Ashley, give him the.
if you want you want me to repeat that? Okay. If you don't like it and you want your refund, they just refund you. But instead of charging you $1 here and 50 cents there, it just puts $5 into your account. When that $5 is gone, it runs another $5. So it's easier for everybody to keep track of. So then it's $1 to unlock this model, and it's 15 cents a minute to use it. So that breaks down if you're joyriding, which there's a lot of leisure time on these versus commuter time. So if you want to go ride the Greenway for an hour, it's $10. You can reserve it. So say you're at the Capitol, working at the Capitol, and you ride it up to Harris's Pizza or whatever to eat lunch. You can keep it in your name to where you don't have to re-unlock it, which is the $1. You can just, if you're only gonna be there 5 minutes, it's cheaper to pay the 5 minutes at 15 cents a minute than it is the $1. So you just reserve it in your name through the app. Nobody can take it. If you get off of it, somebody else could walk up and take it. You know, that's how this program works. So anyway, that's how the whole login works and how to use the scooter as far as an admin point to pay for it. Once you're done, you just scan it again and log out, and you're done. It's pretty simple. You can leave it anywhere and everywhere. One gentleman in the back, wherever he went, just said, I leave him at my house every night. We pick him up there every night. So the Jeff City has a perimeter that you can't ride out of. The scooter will start beeping at you. The app will start beeping at you. Anywhere where we deploy them every morning, that's a long way from here, so you don't really have to worry about that. We have had people load them up and take them to Holt Summit. They don't work up there, so they leave them there, and we have to go up there and pick them up, whatever the case might be. But so anyway, once you get the scooter, it's pretty simple to use. Can everybody hear that beeping? That means it's locked. And notice how the back tire's coming up when I'm pulling on it? That's because it's got a little brake in it to keep you from free riding it or just coasting on it. So once you get it unlocked, with the scanning process, I'm going to do it the freeway because I have that app. So I'm going to unlock it, and it's going to beep. Heard it beep. Headlight came on. I'll show everybody here. Let me put this. The headlight came on. That means it's unlocked, ready to go. That's actually a pretty bright light at night. And then it's pretty simple. You just use it like a scooter. I'm going to back up just a little bit because these things are pretty long pushes. And the main thing is, you push go, it don't go. So a lot of users are like, this thing's broke. No, it's not broke. It's just they want you to get it going, and then it goes. So they're pretty fast, pretty torquey. It has an electric brake. It also has a foot brake. So you want to stand on it like this when you're riding it. And so you have a back brake. Does anybody here ever rode a dirt bike or a bicycle that's got a front brake? Last thing you want to do is hit your front brake. Well, that's what this does. This is an electric brake on the motor, which is up here. I do not suggest using that. It is a panic mode brake, and that's about it. Just like anything else, you want to use the back brake stuff. It's a manual brake. You cannot fail. So that's the main things about it. You log out, log back in, whatever. So that's about it on using the scooter. Like I said, you can ride it in here. We can't go inside a building to get them, but they end up in a lot of Lincoln buildings. So I just kind of wanted to give you an update. I called my contact at Spin a while ago. I gotta find his text back here. I don't know how you guys feel about it, and I'm kind of anxious to see how everybody is about it. But as of today, well, not today's numbers, but before today, so far since December 1st was the first day we put them out, we've had 3,678 rides. We've had 1,442 users. So pretty much about 3 times per user. We haven't done any type of PR at all other than what little bit they've done, and it's been cold. Our best ride day to date is 189 rides in one day. Spin is looking, the number they gave me when I first got involved was they want to see 3 rides a day per scooter, so that's 225. We got really close to there, and these shut off at 6 o'clock. In August, they're going to stay on until daylight or till dark. So we won't start picking them up till 9 o'clock. We start picking them up now about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So we're going to have 3 more hours of peak time. So we're going to be well over that 225 number. Our best average week was December 5th through the 12th. we averaged 126 rides per day in that 7-day period. So that's our best week so far. If you check the weather, that was when we had the best weather. There was, I think there's been 4 days that we haven't deployed due to weather. Spin has informed us that we do not deploy if it's below 32 degrees unless it looks like it's going to get warmer. Mainly for safety. There could be water on the sidewalks that freezes, whatever the case might be. So that's kind of it's kind of up to me if they go out every day as far as weather's concerned. If there's snow on the sidewalks, like we just had that snowstorm, there was like 4 days we didn't put them out. And it's not because we don't want people to use them, it's because we don't want people getting hurt. So that's kind of all I got. I just found out about the meeting like at 2 o'clock today. So I was like, well, I'll come and hang out and see what you guys have to say. So that's really all I got to talk about. If anybody's got any questions, I can answer them.
Excuse me, pardon. I was passing around a sheet, and that shows the screenshots from the moment you open the Spin app and then the prompts that you have to go through. So it tells you that sidewalk riding is prohibited. It encourages riding with a helmet. And there are several things on there to help the rider understand what our policies are.
You also have to be 18 to ride, is another thing. You also have to be 18 to ride, which is another thing that's prompted you right on the app, and all that does come up the first time you log in. So,
Great. I will also be meeting with the 3 squads with the police department starting tonight to kind of give them a synopsis of what the scooters are about and to hear any feedback that they've received from the community with public safety or anything like that. So that'll start this evening.
Just to keep in mind that, like I mentioned when we came here with the bikes, these scooters are considered a vehicle on the roads. They are to be used on roads and streets, not on sidewalks. We are encouraged to have you wear a helmet. There is no helmet law in the state of Missouri, but you need to be wearing a helmet and you need to be using these scooters on the road. It is okay to use them on the greenways, specifically because the greenways are wider than a sidewalk. So that's something that we want to make very, very clear. These are not to be ridden on the sidewalks. No, you're not in trouble, but don't ride them on the sidewalks, please. So if that becomes an issue, or if we're hearing, if your constituents are reporting back to you that that's becoming an issue or that safety is part of this, then we would have to look at that as at the city level.
Mr. Kroll?
Question, I don't know if any of you are able to answer this, but if somebody has, or the city even has a concern about the location or the number at a particular location, who should we contact?
So you can contact directly through your Spin app. If you have a complaint, you can make a complaint right there. I'm a local business owner. I've lived here my whole life. Been operating my business here in Jeff City for 6 years now. I'm not hard to get a hold of. So if you want to come directly to me, I'm the guy that solves that problem. If you go through Spin, they're going to get a hold of me. Go that way. But I'm here. I got involved in this to be more community involved. I'm not a lot, and this was kind of one way for me to get back to the community by getting involved in this. And so it's not like I'm trying to hide who we are. I mean, I'm here wearing my shirt. I don't know. We've been doing business in my other business for 6 years, and half of you guys probably have never heard of us, and that's fine because we've been small and that's just how it is. But yeah, I mean, I'd be more than willing. I didn't bring in any cards tonight, but I can get you my information, my personal information. If there's ever a problem, you can call me and I can take care of it.
I think there was a little bit of a concern with the number, at least, and maybe the location at our little memorial over here by the police department, our Veterans Memorial by the police department. And I think also, Rick, was there another?
Old Munich,
Old Munichburg, in front of they decorated the area for Christmas, and the bikes were right in front of that. That's the
bikes or the scooters?
Scooters.
The scooters?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me which 2 areas? Because we can definitely move them wherever we need to move them. So if there's a complaint on a location they're being dropped, I just need to know. That's all. I haven't had any issues or complaints, so I can't fix it. So
On a city level, people can contact me directly. I don't want them to have to figure out how to go through the Spin app, and if they're not familiar with how to reach Justin, I would be happy to be that contact and let Spin know what the problem is.
Okay, well, I know that those are 2 locations. One is at the Veterans Memorial over here by the police department, and the other one was?
Or the old Munichburg sign during the Christmas decorations of that sign.
Okay,
and-
right there across from the Echo Lounge. And this one's right here at the police department. Do you not want them there at all? Or what's your concern, I guess? Because we can find a different place to put them.
I think the concern in both cases are.
It's certainly at the Veterans Memorial that they block some of the front of the memorial, and it may not be respectful of that memorial.
Okay.
And the second was certainly during the Christmas time, I know it was blocking that. I haven't been by there lately to see how many are there, what the impact of that is. So it's just kind of blocking some of those
Okay.
signs
Yeah,
and
that's-
visible
I mean,
pieces there.
Tomorrow morning, they won't be there. We'll find a different location. I mean, we're not here to be trashy or disrespect
No, just
anybody, so.
mentioning it,
Yeah, so we'll,
Appreciate that.
we'll get 2 new spots there tomorrow, no big deal, so.
Right, is there any questions of council members or comments? Councilman
I
Mahalovich?
do have one question with regard to, are they not legal to be driven at night?
So Spin shuts them off based on daylight savings time and that. So it's 10 after. Right now, you could scan this right now, it will not work. So it's a safety concern for Spin. They do have reflectors on them and lights on them. The light is not for a headlight purpose, it's for more of a caution light to see people, you can see people coming with it versus a headlight. So yeah, they're shut off at 6 o'clock right now. And it's based on time, on daylight. So in August, they'll shut off at, I don't know, they haven't told me exactly if it'll be like, I'm hoping it's like 8 so we can start picking up at 8 versus picking up at 9. But it doesn't get dark till 9 in August. So I don't know exactly what the shut-off time will be then, but it will change with daylight savings time. So.
Are you ready for the demand once the weather does get better? I know it's good to kind of start
So-
it in this kind of weather.
Correct. So I don't know. I mean, you guys, show of hands, who knew about the scooter program before tonight? Okay, everybody did.
answer.
Okay.
Good answer.
Who's rode one?
Exactly.
This guy back here. They-
Taking volunteers at the moment.
I race dirt bikes. I ride dirt bikes. The first time I rode one was in my shop when I got 100 of them delivered to me. And it was in about this big area. And I about ran into my wall. I'm like, this thing's torquey. I mean, I was like, whoa, but now I ride them all the time, so it's no big deal to me. But they're fun to ride. It's a fun factor. Once you get on one, the gentleman outside when I walked in is like, I wouldn't ride one. If you got on one and you like having a good time, they're fun. They are. And so the demand, Spin could have as many as we can feed. So I was talking to Spin yesterday, and I'm not going to get into that story. I can talk all night. But anyway, they're deploying 3,000 in California right now as we speak. They started putting them out on Friday. The demand is there everywhere. If we have the usage here, they're more than willing to bring more here. So my personal opinion, I built a custom truck to haul these. I built it to haul 100. I only do 75 a night. I'm begging every day, give me 25 more, give me 25 more, because I could service them. It's not a big deal. When I first met Amy and got involved, Amy, right? Sorry, I'm sorry. I mix it up all the time. When I first got involved, I talked with Tate at Spin, and I said, what do you see this market at? And he's like, honestly, we have markets that size that have 400 scooters in it. Now, will Jeff City sustain that? We have no idea until we do a test. So the first 75 is a test. I would like to see 200. I think we would have no problem getting 200 here. Right now, our daily deployment is, there's 3. So I'll just tell you, I got nicknames for all of them. You got the Link, there's 6 that go out. The Link in the corner of, I'm not good with all the streets even though I've grown up here. Right there at the corner at the Lincoln, across from the tennis courts, there's 6. Echo Lounge, there's 6. The police department, there's 6. Then you go up to, I call it the prison stop, but there's that, yeah. There's 6 there, which there's a lot of bikes up there that I don't really like. It's kind of overpopulated because of the bikes that don't really get rode there. And then there's 6 at the Capitol, just on the east side of the Capitol. There's 6 at Upper Truman, across from the church and right there at the top of the hill. There's 6 at Lower Truman Building, sorry, across from Capitol Plaza. There's 6 at the bridge, right there where you can go. Yeah, right at the pedestrian bridge to go across the Missouri River. And then we moved. We had some over by the DNR building up there, but they weren't really getting rode, so we moved those 6 to West Main Pizza, where across from West Main Pizza, and they're getting rode all like crazy. And then we have 5 at Providence Bank across down by Walmart. We have 5 at the St. Mary's Plaza there, by the Brick House Deli. Right there's 5, and then there's 5 on the Greenway. And I've had complaints of not having enough in locations. I don't think for the way Spin sees them being used as a commute vehicle versus a fun vehicle, the density's not enough here, but we're not going to do it. They're dragging their feet to bring more to make sure the city's happy with it, with the way everything's working, and they're also making sure that they're going to make money off of it. So, yeah, if the rides are there and you guys are happy, they're going to bring as many as we can sustain, and we're not going to do anything without the city's permission. So that's how Spin, the electric scooter world has had a lot of negativity to it lately, pretty much from get-go. And if you check, most of the negativity is with the other 2 companies I'm not going to name. But Spin, just like this, it took them 6 months. How long did you guys work? You just told me it took 2 years to get them in here, because we wanted to do it on a good graces. And I came in, I was the last man in. I got with it 2 weeks before it happened, just because they needed somebody to service the unit. So yeah, I mean, they're more than capable of doing whatever the needs are, as long as they're getting used. So.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your enthusiasm,
So,
and I hope
yeah.
that we can get everyone as enthused
So.
as you are about these.
Oh, I love it. I think it's awesome, and
Great.
The riders. I mean, you'll see 8 people going down the sidewalk with them, and they're having fun. I don't know. I think it's fun.
That's right. Not on the sidewalk.
The Greenway.
So
Greenway.
why don't we get a picture, and that was a very informative, any last minute questions of council? Well, if you want to bring the scooter up here, and I think we should all come down here, the council members, for a picture, up close. Let's do it. I think Mark wants to run.
You all have homework to do. That's ride one of the scooters.
No, just a foul.
It'd be dangerous in here.
Okay, ready? 1, 2. Okay, hang on. Whoa, this is like really close, actually. Is it? Yeah.
Right, maybe not. So I should say, we did have the mayor's bike ride this year for the first time. Which was a lot of fun. So I did already take a spin bike around downtown. Hadn't been on a bike in quite a few years, but it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I would do it again. It inspired me. So
Scooter races are next.
scooter races,
We'll do
maybe.
another
The mayor's, we'll do another mayor's bike ride for sure. We may get the mayor on a scooter. We'll see. Not inside City Hall, but very impressive. And thanks to all 3 of you for your effort on
Thank
this.
all of you
Thank
for
you.
your support. Yep.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. All right, we have no public hearings, no appointments by the mayor. But while we're talking about appointments by the mayor, why don't we take this moment to talk about that we are needing to make some appointments to some different boards and commissions. So Mrs. Strope will give us a brief update on some appointments that are pending out there.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have a couple of recommendations going to the Administration Committee meeting on Wednesday morning, and those are for the Facade Improvement Committee. We also, though, have a number of boards and commissions that we really need some more volunteers for. We need to add names to the volunteer list. So a couple of those boards are the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee, Board of Adjustment, Cultural Arts Commission, the Environmental Quality Commission. We still need a couple more for the Facade Improvement Committee, and then Planning and Zoning Commission also has one alternate position open. So if anybody is interested in volunteering, they can go to the city's website, which is jeffersoncitymmo.gov. And if you go under meetings and agendas, there's a link there for the volunteer profile form, which you can fill out and then email in or drop off or even fax in to City Hall. Or if you prefer not to go on the website, somebody can certainly come by City Hall and pick up an application form to get their name on the list.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Strope, and we would look forward to having the public apply for those positions and also for council members to reach out to people in their ward to apply as well. Item 7, presentations from staff and consultants and invited guests. We have none this evening. And item 8, announcements by mayor, council, and staff. I will start with my announcements. The big one is I just came back from Hawaii. I was very blessed to have the opportunity to attend the 75th anniversary of the commissioning of the USS Missouri battleship, and that was really a trip of a lifetime and amazing to be part of that historical day. And Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe was a guest speaker and did an amazing speech, and I would encourage you, if you have a moment to watch his speech, you can look at the Facebook page of the Battleship Missouri Memorial, and that's all been recorded, so you can watch Lieutenant Governor Kehoe's speech. And it was definitely a very moving ceremony and emotional and really incredible, and would encourage you, if you're ever in Pearl Harbor, definitely to take the time to visit the Battleship Missouri. And it's a living memorial, and it has amazing history there, and watching the very spot where they ended World War II is just, it's something that is hard to even imagine or believe, and when you see it, you just, it's very impressive, and to think that it holds our name, the USS Missouri. Also, while we were there, we were fortunate to spend some time with the crew of the USS Missouri USS Missouri submarine, along with the USS Jefferson City submarine. They all happened to be there in Pearl Harbor. The Missouri currently is in dry dock, and we were able to tour the Texas submarine, so able to get down and actually see what it's like to be on a submarine, and really gave us an entirely new perspective and respect for those that serve on those submarines and serve our country and protect us each and every day. It was truly amazing experience, and it was really neat to see on their name tags and on their uniforms to see Missouri and to see Jefferson City and to be over there. It really gives you a sense of pride knowing that. And I didn't know that not all communities have a strong connection and relationship with their namesake cities or states, so it was really, really neat. They just appreciate us so much for what we do. And as you know, we have the USS Jefferson City Submarine Committee, and we look forward to their visits each and every year. But to be there in person and get to see them, especially those that have already been here to visit. In fact, they said, they were telling their friends, you have to see in Jefferson City and City Hall, they put up the big banner, and it's right out there by our front door from the USS Jefferson City submarine. So they really are proud of that, and so are we. So I encourage you to like their Facebook page and watch that video, and it also gives us even more motivation to continue to support the Missouri and the Jefferson City in any way that we can as a community. So those are my announcements. Is there any from council this evening? Committees or anything? Okay, well, be sure to check out jeffersoncitymmo.gov for a complete meeting calendar. Item 9, Lincoln University Student Representative Update, Ms. Carolyn Winjaro.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council as a whole. On Thursday of this week, which is February 7th, we'll be having Founders Day convocation over at Richardson Center. You're all invited to come and join us. And then on Thursday as well, we have a women's and men's basketball game over at Jefferson Gym. The women's game is at 5:30 and the men's game is at 7:30. And then on Friday, the men's and women's track and field team will be traveling to Maryville, Missouri. And on Saturday, we have a basketball game, both men's and women's. The women's is at 1 p.m. and the men's is at 3 p.m. And you're all invited to come and cheer the Blue Tigers. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Item 10, presentations from the gallery. We have none signed up this evening. Item 11, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 12, bills introduced, 2018-101.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning 8.49 acres of land located at 311 and 320 Hoover Road from PUD Planned Unit Development to M1 Light Industrial.
Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The property being requested to be rezoned is located at the north end of Hoover Road, which is just off of West Main. To the north is Twin Hills, to the west is 179, and to the east, on the other side of the cemetery, is Bel Air. It's on the map on the screen hatched. As the clerk indicated, it is 8.49 acres. It is currently a PUD zoning. There is some history here. As you can see on the map, a large area to the south is M1. When this property was annexed into the city, it was designated to be M1 Light Industrial. To the north, you'll see some high-density residential. The property was rezoned in the early 2000s for that same zoning for part of that development to be included in the property that's currently being requested to be rezoned. To the east is residential single beds being used as the cemetery, Riverview Cemetery, and to the west of the property is a little bit of commercial where a couple restaurants are located, the fire station, and the existing water tower. The applicant wishes to rezone this property to relocate their existing facilities and offices. The applicant is Missouri American Water, so they do plan to relocate here and use their existing treatment facility. They've been expanding that in the past. We've gone through the public process as required. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval with a vote of 8-0 on this. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sanders? Okay. 2018-102.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, vacating and discontinuing a 15-foot wide roadway easement along the southern side of the 500 block of Union Street and vacating a 35-foot roadway easement along the northern side of the 500 block of Union Street in the City of Jefferson, Missouri.
Mr. Smith.
Yes, Madam Mayor. This bill would authorize the vacation of a section or a portion of a section of roadway adjacent to Jeff City High School. This is in conjunction with a development agreement with the high school with their redevelopment of the existing campus. And by doing so, we would turn this property over to the school for their use on their physical plant. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Smith? All right. 2018-103.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, vacating and discontinuing the 500 block of Union Street right-of-way.
Mr. Smith?
This is a companion bill to the previous bill with the same associated area. All of this would be Union Street between Lafayette and Jackson Street. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Smith? Okay. 2018-104.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Cole County establishing responsibilities for the Fairground Acres subdivision to County Park Greenway Trail.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, as clerk mentioned, this agreement is between the city and Cole County, which would authorize the city to be able to build a section of trail approximately 500 feet in length connecting the Fairgrounds Acres subdivision to the existing trail system into the county park. This bill does, you'll notice a check mark, and it has an associated resolution that we'll cover further down in the agenda. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Smith? Councilman Hussey.
Madam Mayor, I would request a suspension of the rules and have Bill 2018-104 third read and voted on this evening.
Thank you. Are there any objections to suspend the rules? Okay, at this time we'll take up 2018-104.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Cole County establishing responsibilities for the Fairground Acres subdivision to County Park Greenway Trail.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Roll call, please.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Hensley.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber. Ward. Wiseman.
Aye.
Bill passes. Bills pending 2018-98.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a municipal agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Dix Road improvements.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, this bill would authorize MoDOT to place construction signing within the city right-of-way during their upcoming project to improve the Dix Road Bridge and interchange area. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or council deliberation? Roll call, please.
Graham.
Aye.
Hensley.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather. Schreiber. Ward. Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2018-100.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a $210,823 agreement with Donahue and Associates Incorporated for the Westview Pump Station upgrade and Basin 10 sewer evaluation.
Mr. Molman?
Thank you. This is an agreement that has already been approved by the City Council last year. However, when the agreement was returned to the vendor, they requested some changes to the contract. Some of those changes were believed to be appropriate, and this bill would approve the contract with the changes that that were made after the vendor requested the changes. Summary of those changes is included in the bill summary, and I'm happy to answer any specific questions on this.
Thank you. Any questions or deliberation? Roll call, please.
Hensley.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather. Schreiber. Ward. Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Bill passes. Nothing on the informal. Resolutions, RS 2018-29.
A resolution authorizing the City of Jefferson to apply for the Recreational Trails Program grant.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, as alluded to in a previous bill, this is a grant application for the Recreational Trails Grant Program through the Department of Natural Resources. This authorizes the city to apply for the staff to apply for the grant. It does not obligate funds. It is an 80-20 grant. If received, we would envision that the Parks and Rec Fund would cover the local share. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion for 2018-29.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather. Schreiber. Ward. Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Hensley.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2018-30.
A resolution declaring that the unlawful distribution of prescription-controlled substances has created a public nuisance and a serious public health and safety crisis for the citizens of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, and authorizing the city to join in a lawsuit against opioid manufacturers, distributors, and others in the supply chain.
Mr. Molman, and if you could also explain that some council members will be abstaining, so just go through that process with us.
Sure. So the abstention process is pretty simple. It is it is a non-vote. It is neither a affirmative vote nor a vote in the negative. It is a non-participation in the vote, and so it is counted separately from the ayes and nays. So it's a third column in counting.
Do they need to declare that before the discussion or just during the roll call?
They can declare it just during the roll call.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. And if you'll give us a summary of the resolution.
Sure thing. This resolution accomplishes two things. Essentially, it engages the law firms of Baird Leitner Millsap out of Springfield, Missouri, and the Strong Law Firm out of Springfield, Missouri, and then the law firm of Carey, Danis, and Lowe out of St. Louis, to engage the city in a lawsuit against makers and distributors of opioids. The city has been presented information showing that the unlawful distribution of prescription-controlled substances have created a public nuisance and a public health and safety crisis for the citizens of Jefferson City. And so this resolution would be a step toward addressing those issues. And so in addition to authorizing them to engage in litigation on the city's behalf, this actually formally hires those law firms to represent the city. This lawsuit, this representation will be done on a contingency fee basis. The attorneys that will perform the work are seeking a 25% of the net recovery, and so that is the recovery from any settlement or litigation after expenses are accounted for.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Molman? Councilman Fitzwater? Councilwoman Wiseman, I'm sorry.
Thank you. When you say it's going to be 25% of the net, there are obviously going to be expenses associated with this. Is our staff time going to be billed out as an expense to the litigation that gets paid out before any of the net proceeds are distributed?
No. Our staff time could be considered an in-kind contribution to the litigation effort.
Councilman Graham?
Mr. Molman, how does this lawsuit, in which could possibly engage in with the law firms out of Springfield, differ from the lawsuit that has been filed by the county?
Sure.
What's the difference?
Sure. The subject of the litigation is essentially the same. It's seeking recovery from makers of opioid prescriptions for public health impacts that the flooding of towns and cities with these types of with these drugs and the public health implications that they have. So the subject matter is the same. Essentially, the difference is largely procedural between what the city is contemplating doing here and what the county has already done. The county has joined a group that has filed a lawsuit in federal court. That lawsuit has been transferred to the Northern District of Ohio for what's called multi-district complex litigation. This lawsuit contemplates filing suit in state court in the city of St. Louis as a venue. It is so the difference is really the judge and perhaps ultimate jury that will hear the case, federal as opposed to state. Now there is a chance that the action that is filed in state court could get removed to federal court, but I believe there's going to be effort to prevent that from happening, and that the attorneys that this resolution seeks to hire believes that there is a more favorable venue for Jefferson City in the state of Missouri.
Thank you. Any further questions for Ryan?
Just to follow up. So I want to make sure that I understood what you just said. Is there's a possibility of the lawsuit that's been filed by the county, and if we decide to go that route, could be lumped up into one? At the federal level?
At the federal level, yeah. So in instances where there is multi-district complex litigation, essentially what the federal courts do is they see a situation where there are similar lawsuits that are being filed throughout the country, and so what they do is they take control of all those lawsuits and they say everyone is going to be in a single district, so that way one judge is kind of overseeing everything. And so all those federal cases have been directed to Ohio, and so if these attorneys on behalf of the city were to file in state court and that case got removed to federal court, that means that case would go to Ohio. But that is an if. It is not automatic that it would get removed. And in fact, there's going to be a strong attempt to keep it in state court. So it is a possibility that it could get moved to the same court, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is the same case. Complex litigation is a great name for it because those procedures are really complex on how those courts have to handle it. But it would be in front of the same judge undergoing a similar type of review, but that is only if it got removed to federal court, and the attorneys that are contemplated by this resolution are going to attempt to avoid removal.
Okay, is there a motion to take up RS 2018-30? I'm sorry, Councilwoman Ward.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to put our fire and police chiefs on the spot, but if you had a way of giving us an idea of the impact on our community this has been on our first responders, maybe the amount that we've spent on the pins, not EpiPens, I can't come up with the right word for that, and if there's been any additional training to our first responder staff, if we know how often those pins are used.
I might be able to speak to a part of that. We participate in a program where we administer naloxone, or Narcan is kind of the trade name, and we do that for a variety of opioid type overdose situations. And so along with the ambulance service, we carry that medication, and that program has been successful. I think that it's hard to get an exact number of indirect cases, but directly I think our number is right around a dozen since we started. And that's been about a year and a half ago. So we support basic life support for a lot of related overdose situations, but it's very, very difficult for us to pinpoint a tangible finite cost, just because, like I said, there are many indirect costs as well as cases that don't rise to the acuity that would need naloxone administered. So, and then some where it's just not appropriate. So there's just a lot of different variables there. So it's very, very difficult for us to put a finite number on that. But I can tell you that it is something that we do, and it is a program that we feel is important, and that we support increased efforts in this area.
Councilman Graham.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the chief and I have discussed the application of Narcan and have both agreed pretty quickly that we would allow the application of that to the medical people, to EMS and our fire department, so we don't do that ourselves. We respond to the calls, and there's a lot of other responsibilities that are required at those scenes. And so while we're busy doing that, the fire department's addressing the medical issues at that same scene. We have noticed an increase in drug overdoses since 2012, 2013. And of course, we could get those numbers, but I don't have them here tonight. And I'd also want to be careful with comments regarding, since litigation is pending. So we also see a lot of heroin overdose, just street heroin overdoses also. So it's a significant problem in a lot of different ways. So other than that, I'd reserve comment.
Thank you. Councilman Graham?
Just one final question, and I know that I don't mean to put you on the spot, Mr. Moman, whatsoever. I know that the final decision is going to rest amongst these 7 individuals who will be voting tonight. But in joining this lawsuit, what would be the benefits for the city of Jefferson in joining this lawsuit?
I think at a very basic level, there's an opportunity to recover some of the costs that our city has to endure because of an increase in opioid-related deaths and injuries. As the chief indicated, it's hard to put a number, put a fiscal number on that. What are the actual direct costs? I think a lot of the costs are indirect. One of the things that studies have shown is that when people use opioid and have the unfortunate situation of them becoming addicted to the opioids, but then lack the ability to legally obtain them through medical professional and have those administered with medical oversight, they either turn to a black market opioid or heroin. And so illegal drugs of any type have a very strong impact on not only direct fiscal resources that police and fire and other people have to put toward helping people and fighting crime, but also make the community just largely a less desirable place to live. And part of what this lawsuit will claim is public nuisance, which is kind of a claim that you have negatively impacted the community as a whole, in addition to direct attributable costs. And so I think that the benefit is to the city is to be able to recover some of those resources and help mitigate some of those impacts that we felt, both direct impacts and indirect impacts. Then also, I believe that the discovery process in this litigation is going to be helpful to know how Jefferson City is getting impacted, and when you know how you're getting impacted, you can then learn how to counter those. And so I think that there'll be some education that goes along with participating in this litigation of here are the impacts and here's some things that we can do to help mitigate those from an operational standpoint. So I think there's both direct fiscal and also kind of indirect community-wide benefits that could come from participating in this type of litigation.
Councilwoman Wiseman and then Mahalovich.
Yes, thank you. Are we already compiling this data for the counties since they're already involved in this litigation? I mean, we are part of the county, so.
Well, I'm not aware of any conscious joint effort or our researching and submitting various statistics to the county and their efforts. We just routinely retain records of everything we do. So when I say we have access and could achieve whatever end we're looking for in terms of statistics, we can do that because every incident, everything to which we're called is a matter of documentation. So while it would take a little bit of time, it's certainly there. The information is there and is there for many, many years. So we could retrieve that if necessary.
I'm not aware of any direct effort by the county to reach out to the city for anything from my office.
Nor am I.
Councilman Mihalovich.
And a kind of a follow-up to that question is, so is the county suing in behalf of all the citizens of the county of Cole? Are they suing on behalf of the services they provide in the county of Cole? And the difference is real important because we provide services. We're all a part of County of Cole. But if it's just covering their services impacted by this crisis, it may not cover our police department and our fire department. But if it is for the citizens of Cole, then you would think that that lawsuit would have the impact of distribution of funds, not only what's due to the county services, but to the city services and any other municipality within the county.
I can't speak to the details of anything regarding the Cole County's litigation. To the extent that the services overlap, like I said, I don't know of, I have not had any direct communication with any county official on this. And so I can't speak to what their plans would be for any type of recovery that they could receive. I think that while there is some duplication of services between Cole County and Jefferson City, in large part, the services that are provided in Cole County are provided to the citizens of Jefferson City by Jefferson City Police and Fire. And so inside Jefferson City, I don't think there is a too much overlap. Now, I think EMS is probably the main exception to that, but it's she said transport versus first responder, and county provides bulk of transport, but Jefferson City Fire is primary first responder on almost all medical calls. And so I think that there is a separation of the Venn diagram enough, if you will, that the interests of the city are separate enough from the interests of the county that it is worth considering the city pursuing its own claims on behalf of itself.
Any further questions? Is there a motion to take up RS 2018-30?
So moved.
Second.
Any council deliberation or discussion on the resolution? Councilman Mahalovich?
I'm still not quite satisfied with. Seems to me that being a part of the County of Cole, we should be the distribution of any damages as a resultant of that should be accrued by the services we provide within the County of Cole. But and you said I specifically don't know whether it does or doesn't, but you presume it wouldn't. So that to me would be kind of a good thing to know with regard to this body if we were, to vote whether or not, okay, so we expect if there are damages to have distribution to our police and fire and our first responders, clearly, and they're going to ask for some of the same things. Police and fire, our police and maybe county fire, I have no idea, and their ambulance service. But it seems like there is going to be really a hard thing to figure out any kind of reasonable distribution. But that's probably why it'll be in the courts for a while. I have conflicted views on this. Number one is you, in the resolution, it has health, safety, and welfare for our residents. And that's what we're trying to do here. I don't think, I feel somewhat like it's a money grab. If everybody's getting money, we should get some too. And that makes me feel bad, but on the same instance, if it is impacting our health, safety, and welfare, we have an obligation to the citizens who can't make this vote to vote in their behalf. So I'm conflicted on this. I'm not even sure I welcome the debate of others so that I could kind of find my position on this. But we were seeing facts with regard to ER visits. We are seeing some information in regard to 2012 to 13 increases in our police efforts. So there's no doubt we're impacted, as all communities are, and I don't know the end resolution of this, but that's my comments, and I welcome everybody else's feelings on that.
Councilman Hussey?
I have a question for Mr. Molman. Would the county even be able to sue to collect on behalf of services for the city? Would they have standing to do that? Or is the city the only entity that could sue to collect on behalf of those services?
I think that they would have, if they were attempting to claim costs incurred by the city as damages for the county of Cole, they would have a large problem with establishing the veracity of that evidence, that those are actually damages sustained by Cole County. I think they would have a hard time doing that. Yeah, if I were opposing counsel, I would really dig into that and challenge their ability to claim those damages.
Any other counsel?
So I guess that would leave us as the entity in the suit to really be able to collect on those, or to if we were to use our direct city services of police, fire, public safety as a cost to the city, we would be the appropriate governmental body to bring that suit.
I think that's yeah.
Councilman Mahalovich?
So take this one point. So City of Russellville, Cole County, has ambulance service they would that's provided by the county that would they would get some sort of benefit as a result of the damages as a result of extra ambulance service, whatever, but their police, as long as Cole County Sheriffs were there versus the Cole County, Russellville Police. So what I'm getting at is no one really protecting the city of Russellville, as an example, unless they choose to follow the same suit. As we are debating here, or any municipality. I mean, this would go for everybody. Obviously, the potential damages are quite a bit greater for us than anybody else probably in Cole County, but the question I guess I pose is, what is the number of municipalities lining up behind counties or with counties? Do we know kind of what those figures are? I kind of forget if I was told.
I don't think I have a rundown of all the counties and municipalities in Missouri that are participating in this type of litigation. Anecdotally, I am of the understanding that Jefferson City is one of the last cities of any type of notable size that has made a decision on whether or not to participate. But like I said, that is only anecdotally. City of St. Louis, City of Joplin, City of Kansas City, City of St. Joseph, City of Independence. Those are cities off at the top of my head that are participating in this type of litigation, and those are obviously all, with the exception of St. Louis, all within a county as well. So this is not a situation that is unique to Jefferson City and Cole County.
What about the City of Columbia?
As far as I know, City of Columbia has not made a decision on this matter, and that they are currently still looking into it.
Councilwoman Wiseman?
Thank you. I guess my issue with this, and I too am open to some discussion about this, is the money involved here. Actually, our time involved here. These companies have already paid a sizable amount of money to the federal government because they've been fined. They've clearly done something wrong. There's already a large multi-jurisdictional lawsuit in Ohio. This is not the first state lawsuit of its kind, I'm sure, because we're not original. And I'm just not sure that there's going to be anything left over. And I understand that this is a contingency fee case, and so we're not going to have to pay attorney fees. My concern isn't that. My concern is what staff is going to be putting into this once discovery rolls in. I know that discovery is going to be really, really extensive in this case, and taking them off the streets and taking them off more important issues of the city is what's really got me bound up here, because I just don't know that we're going to recover enough to warrant all of that time and effort just to get some statistics out of this. And so I'm having a rough time with this one.
Councilman Mark Schreiber?
I also concur. That's been my concern all along since we first started discussing this. I feel that these things can go on and on and on, and there would probably be a great deal of resource as far as time, staff time involved. So I also concur with what Councilman Mihalovich stated earlier. I'd like to know exactly where we fit into the issue of this lawsuit that's being brought forth by the county. If we're included from that standpoint, if they're taking the statistics from the city and including that, because certainly we are a very significant portion of the population of Cole County. So I voice those same concerns at this time. If we had some more definitive answers, then I might feel a little bit differently. But I know how things go when you get involved in disclosure issues and providing documentation. it can go on and on and on. It can certainly get out of hand, so that's my primary concern at this time.
Councilman Graham?
Councilman Molman, as relates to the county, did they contact your office to say that they were anticipating or going to be filing or joining in with a lawsuit?
No.
So and they haven't contacted any city official to ask for any type of statistics as it relates to help with their case?
Not that I'm aware of.
So I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I would think that their thought process is that Jefferson City would not be included into their lawsuit. So this would be something that we would be taking on as far as the city of Jefferson. So that's just my thought.
Any other council deliberation? Any questions? Okay, are we ready to end deliberation and roll call vote then? Okay. Mrs. Donaldson, roll call, please.
Kimna?
Oh, wait, did we get a motion in a second? We did, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. We did. Forgot already.
Kimna?
Aye.
Mahalovich?
Nay.
Prather?
Abstain.
Schreiber?
Nay.
Ward?
Aye.
Wiseman?
Nay.
Fitzwater?
Abstain.
Graham?
Aye.
Hensley?
Abstain.
Hussey?
Aye.
3 ayes. We need 6 to pass. Or I'm sorry, 4 ayes. But you need 6 to pass.
Okay, so the vote is 4 in favor and 3 opposed. So I believe we needed 6 to pass. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the resolution fails. Okay. Item 16, we have no one signed up for presentations from the gallery. Item 17, do we have any council and staff discussion on presentation topics? Item 18, any new business? Item 19, we need a motion for the approval of the January 22nd closed session minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mahalovich?
Aye.
Prather?
Abstain.
Schreiber? Ward?
Aye.
Wiseman?
Aye.
Fitzwater?
Abstain.
Graham?
Aye.
Hensley? Hussey? Kimna?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 20, any unfinished business? I'll announce that next meeting is Monday, February 18th, which is President's Day, but we are meeting on that Monday. So everybody come to City Hall on Monday, the 18th. The city will be open. Item 21, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all in favor say aye. All right.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.